Somewhere in Mongolia, there is a grave no one has ever found. It belongs to the most feared man in human history. And the people who buried him made sure it would stay that way forever. His name was Genghis Khan. He built the largest connected land empire the world has ever seen. Bigger than Rome. Bigger than Alexander's conquests. Bigger than anything before or since. He conquered from the Pacific Ocean to the edge of Europe. Millions died because of his armies. And when he finally died in the year 1227, his own men did something strange. They didn't build him a tomb. They didn't carve his name into stone. They erased him. Here's what we do know. Genghis Khan died during a military campaign somewhere in what is now China. The exact cause is still debated. A fall from a horse, an illness. Some say an old wound. His body was carried back toward Mongolia in complete secrecy. Every town the funeral procession passed through, soldiers killed everyone who saw them. Every witness, gone. That's not a legend. Several historical sources describe this. But that's just the beginning of what they did to erase him. When the procession finally reached the burial site, the real plan started. According to Mongol tradition, the grave was dug, the body was placed inside, and the ground was covered over. Then, soldiers rode 1,000 horses back and forth across the burial site. Over and over. Until there was no trace left, no mound, no marker, nothing but flat, undisturbed steppe. Then trees were planted over the area. Within a few years, the forest looked like it had always been there. But horses and trees weren't enough. They had one more plan. And it's the part that still unsettles historians today. The soldiers who built the grave were killed by a second group of soldiers. And that second group was killed by a third. Every single person who knew the location was eliminated, layer by layer, until the secret existed nowhere except inside the ground itself. Historians call this the silencing. It sounds almost too calculated to be real, but it fits everything we know about how the Mongol Empire operated. Secrecy wasn't a weakness to them. Secrecy was a weapon. Think about what that means. An empire that stretched across 2 continents. An empire built on speed, intelligence, and information. Used that same discipline to make sure its own founder would never be found. Not by rival tribes. Not by empires who wanted to desecrate his remains for revenge. Not by anyone, ever. For 800 years that plan has worked. Now you'd think in 800 years someone would have found something. And there have been attempts, many of them. In the 1990s, a joint Mongolian-Japanese expedition used satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar to search a region called the Ik-Korig, the Great Taboo. It's a forbidden zone, roughly 240 square kilometers, that Mongolians have avoided entering for centuries. Not because of law, because of belief. And that belief might be the real reason no one has ever found the grave. Local legend holds that anyone who disturbs the tomb will bring catastrophe on the region, maybe the world. Some say it's cursed, some say it's sacred, some say both. Even the Japanese Mongolian expedition, backed by serious funding and serious technology, was eventually shut down. Officially, it was budget cuts. Unofficially, local elders reportedly protested. Mongolian authorities grew uneasy about disturbing what many still consider forbidden ground. The search stopped. The forest stayed quiet. In 2004, a different team, this time backed by the University of Chicago, tried again. They used satellite mapping instead of digging, hoping to avoid controversy while still finding answers. They found something. A walled compound. Ancient, structured, deliberately hidden. For a moment, it looked like the mystery might finally end. But further study suggested the site might date to before Genghis Khan's era. Possibly unrelated. Possibly not. The team never got permission to excavate. To this day, no one has dug there. So why does a government with modern technology keep stopping short of the answer? This is where the story stops being about archaeology and starts being about identity. For Mongolia, Genghis Khan isn't just a historical figure. He's the reason Mongolia exists as a concept at all. Before him, it was a patchwork of warring tribes. He unified them. He gave them a name, a flag, a destiny. To many Mongolians, digging up his body isn't discovery, it's desecration of the man who created their entire national identity. That's not superstition talking. That's memory, that's reverence. And there's something else worth sitting with. Every other conqueror in history left something behind. Alexander the Great has a documented, though later lost, tomb. Rome's emperors have monuments you can visit today. Even Attila the Hun's grave, though undiscovered, has legends about rivers being diverted to bury him. But at least we know approximately where. Genghis Khan left nothing. No monument, no epitaph, no marked resting place. The man who conquered more of the world than anyone in history chose, in the end, to disappear completely. And that raises the real question underneath all of this. Was the secrecy about protecting his body? Or was it about protecting something else? Some historians believe the hidden grave wasn't just superstition or tradition. It may have been strategy, even after death. Rival clans who wanted to defile his remains as revenge for lost family, lost land, lost cities, would never get the chance. No grave to rob, no body to punish, no symbol to destroy. In a very real sense, by disappearing completely, Genghis Khan made himself untouchable. Even in death, he stayed one step ahead of every enemy he ever made. And maybe that's the most unsettling part of this whole story. We built our understanding of him almost entirely from the accounts of the people he conquered. Chroniclers who feared him, empires who suffered under him, and even they couldn't erase him because there was nothing left to erase. No tomb to loot, no bones to scatter, no trophy to take. Genghis Khan didn't just conquer nations. He conquered the one thing every powerful person eventually loses: control over how their story ends. Today, satellite technology keeps improving. DNA analysis keeps advancing. Ground-penetrating radar gets more precise every year. And still, the great taboo sits untouched. Nearly 1,000 years of secrecy, held up by horses, trees, silence, and belief. Maybe one day someone will find it. Maybe the forest will finally give up what it's kept for 8 centuries. Or maybe some mysteries are only powerful because they stay mysteries. Here's the one thing worth remembering from all of this. The most powerful man of his era didn't fear death. He feared being found. And in choosing to vanish completely, Genghis Khan did something almost no historical figure has ever managed to do. He made his ending as unstoppable as his empire ever was.